Yo, guys, what is up? And welcome back to another episode of the Game Six Clay podcast. It's your boy Gautam, my boys Matt and Chuck. Boys, welcome back. Another twist in the regular season that we've been seeing. Last time we spoke with all you guys, Warriors were 5-0 on this homestand. Steph and Wiggins were coming back. We were like, do they go 8-0, 7-1? Is that still good? Fast forward to today. The Warriors lost their last three, dropped it against the Pistons, the Magic, and a G League Suns team to finish 20-21 halfway through the season. Before we get into that, as always, brothers, how we doing? How we feeling?
Yeah, we're good. I know you got it too, coming off the birthday celebrations.
Birthday week was not the best for Warriors fans like us, Chuck.
Yeah, no, we did not get the gift of good basketball on there. Rough way for me to start my Paul Pressey year.
Chuck.
But yeah, exactly. But no, we're
Legendary.
doing all right. How you doing, Matt?
Yeah, man. I mean, I tend to tie my life force to how the Dubs do, so not great. It's been a rough few days. I fortunately missed that Suns game, and then per Gotham's recommendation, just didn't even toss it on the next day like I generally do. Getting over
Yeah,
being
man.
sick, and I work with kids, and it's winter, so I've got about 4 days of health most likely before I get sick again. So,
Back on the injury protocol or the health and safety
oh
protocol.
yeah,
Yeah, man, you're totally right. That Suns game, man, I'm happy you missed it. But let's just start there. That was probably the most disappointing loss in a season that's kind of had a lot of disappointing losses. For the first time, you had Steph. That's the same starting lineup: Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, and Loon. Got the bench guys, dropped the last two games, but you got your guys coming back. Wiggins' second game, Steph's first one, and a Suns team that really had no business winning. They haven't won in a while. They're missing their best players.
Gotham. Can you
Um,
real quick just share for the Suns who didn't play?
yeah, I wanted just it was Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Cam Johnson. I think the only guy
Jay
that
Crowder.
played
Jay
and
Crowder.
Crowder, Jay Crowder has played. Mikal Bridges was their best player. And the guy coming off the last game where he was just showboating for on Clay, like come on, that game was just one you don't lose to end the homestand. You're going on the road, but it was just bad basketball, man. For three quarters there, turn it on in the fourth, but it's good to know they could still do it. But to come out with that kind of lack of urgency, just kind of not even taking the team seriously, just bad turnovers, hoisting up threes. Kind of some of the ugliest basketball we've seen in a long time from the Warriors. Chuck, you're our film guy. I want just take us through what you saw and like how bad was that last game?
So I think what you said that I agree with, and the one thing I don't have an individual game in mind, but I don't think this is the most embarrassing loss of the season. And I will say
Fair,
that because we've had a lot of them.
yeah,
That's been a theme. So for me, what I kind of saw was Steph's back, Wiggins is back. You're not hearing anything about limits, minutes restrictions, anything like that. And I know Wiggins has been back for a couple games, but he's still, looking a little rusty. So this is a team, like the Warriors more than almost any other team sort of play within their own flow. Like the coaching staff isn't the one applying the pressure, like telling them what to do because their responsibilities are so drilled into them and so many things just come out of, playing out of rhythm, like just sort of this flowy, fun basketball. And they didn't have that early. Like they were looking around, kind of expect, like, hey, what's Steph gonna do? And he wasn't that involved early in the game. He wasn't making his shots. So they're like, okay, let's see what Wiggins has got. And he didn't have much of anything. And then by the time they could kind of get Clay going, with the other two guys really slumping, the Suns are already up by so much. And a lot of that was, like the turnovers, the fouls, a lot of things that we've just seen throughout the season. No surprise there. Those two things are leading to a loss. But the thing I want to focus on is toward the end of the game, because when the coaching staff actually applied pressure and they said, okay, now we're going to do this full court press, like we're going to actually design plays for Steph and design plays for Clay and get them more directly involved, then they kind of started kicking Phoenix's ass a bit.
yep.
And obviously, the game was kind of out of hand, but they were able to get it down to like one or two possessions at one point. So, uh, it was impressive, I think, to see them sort of dial it up down the stretch and at least make it competitive. And, once you've dug yourself like a 30-point hole, there's really not much coming back. But I think what we kind of saw is Steve Kerr say, okay, they have not figured it out tonight. Like the team has not figured it out tonight. I got to step in and put this up there. And man, like Andrew Wiggins running a full court press was
scary,
horrifying. Like he was just like Dwayne Washington, come here. Like I'm gonna.
It was like 2K, bro. You had the pressure's up, and you just get the steal. It was insane.
No, it was cheat code stuff, and Poole really got his energy down the stretch. It was a really big game for him. Like he was looking confident with his shot. He was really letting it go. He got to the rim. He got fouled, but yeah, ultimately that hole they dug them really got them in trouble. But I think they've had much more winnable games with fewer excuses for why they've lost so far this season. Probably had some in the last couple of games, if we're being honest.
Are we sure?
Totally. Yeah, no, totally. I mean,
yeah.
I think the yeah, it was definitely a disappointing loss, like, and just the energy, just having all your guys back, and but like, I mean, I think it was like in terms of Steph and Wiggins kind of struggling. It was Wiggins' second game back, Steph's first game back. Like you expect them to go through some growing pains, like they're human, but I was just a little disappointed, like you said, Chuck, the turnovers and the defending without or fouling too much, and just not being able to get a stop. Like it was just they were playing against like not I don't want to say G League players, but like they were playing against like very much like NBA bench warmers against a damn near fully healthy Golden State Warriors team that had no business losing that game. So for that reason, for me, it was like we've dropped games before, dropped games that we could have won, but this one was there for the taking. You're at home, you're coming off 2 bad losses, you had 2 days off. It was just deflating to see that. But like you said, like that fourth quarter when they did start to dial it up, and obviously it was a little too late, but you could see that this like it's not anything to worry about in terms of can this team still play basketball at a high level. Like you still have Steph, Wiggins, Clay, everybody kind of starting to figure it out. Draymond and Loon obviously have played such big minutes and kind of been such key cogs of holding down the forward, Clay as well. So that's kind of where this kind of comes in, where you got to pick up these wins when you can try and like buy these guys some time. And to finish the homestand off with 3 straight losses, coming off a 5-0 start, it was just kind of deflating at the end of the day. To end and to go back on the road again, we got we'll get into it. We got 3 winnable games coming up, but it just puts a dampened mood on what was a commendable job by the rest of these guys to hold down the fort and be 20-21. Like if you told us that they were the 8th seed 2021 after when you had Steph and Wiggins back fully healthy, I think we would have taken it when they were whatever 15 and 18. So it just puts, like in perspective, it's not the end of the world. Like they definitely have a lot of season, but it's time to start to figure this stuff out. Like they're losing the whatever grace period they had of games that where they can kind of the fuck around and find out scale. Like you're at the top of it right now. Like you got no more rope to hang.
With that in mind, like now we are halfway through the season, 20-21. What is this team? Matt, you got an answer for us?
Dude, I don't know, man. I have changed my schedule of late. I'm not watching the Warriors late start games. I'm an hour ahead of you guys. I'm an hour ahead of Gautam, man. Chuck, you're a beast. But if I watch those games and stay up till 10:30, 11 and watch and go to work the next day, I'm just mean to children.
Man syndrome.
Doesn't really work out for anybody. But I kind of that night I couldn't sleep very well. I checked the score kind of sporadically as I was falling asleep, and I end up not being able to sleep because I've checked the score of this game 2 or 3 times and seen the score, and of course, I'd messed myself up that way. What is this team? Man, I don't know. Right now, this team, I said it earlier, my opinion really hasn't changed with like what they are, from a zoomed out standpoint. They're a playing team. I'm just not confident otherwise until they make a move, because it's 41 games, and I actually just don't. I think that is the worst loss of the season. Obviously, I didn't watch it, but that's a team down 4 starters. That's the game Steph comes back. That's the game where, it's tail end of this road trip. They're the best home team in the league. They're getting their best player back. They're healthy outside of one guy, basically. So essentially the healthiest they've been all season. Not to say that Kuminga is not extremely important to this team, and he has been. And I thought it was notable the other day that Kerr said, Kerr saying he misses a 20-year-old is like me
It's
saying I really
significant.
enjoyed the Warriors lost the other night,
Moses
man.
Moody wishes, man. Shout
Yeah,
out
Moses Moody with just teardrops in the corner,
Sorry.
man. Yeah, I thought that was a horrible loss. I'm not gonna say the sky has fallen, but I just think halfway through the season this team's a game below 500, and so to finish anywhere near 50 games, take a pretty incredible stretch. So again, I'm just gonna say 6 seed at best is kind of where I'm at right now. But again, I'm just glad I didn't watch the game, right? If I had watched the game, I'd probably be saying this team's a 10 seed. That's probably what I'm saying out loud. So not having watched it, but still thinking it's a horrible loss. I'm saying 6 seed is kind of the best case scenario, but I think they're a playing team. I think they're one Looney or Draymond injury away from 2020, 2021 season repeating itself. I just don't know how much longer I can do this, guys. I'm going to keep doing it forever. And it's going to, head in Turkey for a hair transplant in the next 4 to 5 years at this rate, man. So this is not going great, but not thrilled.
I'm kind of glad you worded it that way too, because the way I thought of it, like, I still think the Warriors are going to make the playoffs. Like, they're too good of a team right now to not like figure this out down the stretch. But I thought of it as like an if, then, and plenty of buts team. If you make it to the playoffs, great. Then you need all of your starters, like more than any other team. Injuries can kill everybody, but more than a lot of other teams, the Warriors do not have replacements. Like, what happened if Kevon Looney is out for a series? Like, what do you do there? What happens if Andrew Wiggins is out for a series? Like, you got to start Jonathan Kuminga. What if Kuminga is out? Like, we've seen the impact of that. So you need all the starters. You need Poole. You need Kuminga. If you don't have that, you're dead in the water. Then you need to get through a West where you're definitely not going to have home court advantage at this point. It's just too crowded. It's just too packed. I think they can still sneak away in, like maybe get above the play in to get to like that 6 seed. But then you need to get decent matchups. Like, you need to find a team that's hopefully not hot, hopefully that you match up well against. And then there are all the buts of, well, you got to execute against this team and you got to keep going. And who knows, I'm still sort of in, hey, when Steph, Clay, and Draymond are out there, this team, when they're in the playoffs together and they're healthy, they make it to the finals more often than they don't. Like, that's historically been proven time and time again. So I'm not going to bet against it until I see it, but I feel like there are a lot more questions about this team than there were at this time last year.
1,000%. But you asked, what is this team?
I got to stop, bro. Gotham, sorry, but Gotham, like, totally was like, oh, fuck. Then you said Clay, Steph, and Draymond, and Gotham's like, I don't care about anything else you said.
What is this team? What is this team? I'm glad you worded it the way you did, Chuck. That was a perfect segue into what I'm about to say. This team are still the defending champions. Yes, they're 2021. I think I completely agree. You are what your record is. But like you said, Chuck, there's some buts to this. The butt is they have a top 8. So solidly said in that if they're healthy, you trust can win basketball games. You've got Steph, Clay, Draymond, Wiggins, Looney, Poole, Kuminga, DiVincenzo. I think those are your 8 guys as of right now. You are completely and solid. Like, you have faith in them, and you know that push comes to shove, 7-game series, that you'll take. You, like you said, I'm riding with those guys. The part that concerns me about this team is and always has been the regular season. Like you said, Chuck, the West is wide open either way. Like, you could very much end up the 4 seed with a great run. You'd also be the 13th seed if you continue to drop these bad games. So the Warriors find themselves at 20 and 21 as the 8th seed, right there in the middle. The top half, I feel like I think the Grizzlies and the Nuggets are going to start to separate themselves. Pelicans, I think they're going to hold down the fort with Zion out, but After that, Dallas as well, but Dallas, Sacramento, and I think the Warriors can kind of, with a good stretch, be in that 4, 5, 6 Clippers kind of range. So if you can avoid the play-in and just get to the dance healthy, Draymond's playing way too many minutes. Looney's playing way too many minutes. So in my opinion, I feel like it's, what this team is. They're top heavy. But you need guys like 9 through 12 to be able to help out, step in, and play big minutes. Like you said, if a Looney goes down, a Wiggins goes down, a Kuminga goes down, you're down to your third string guy. I just don't know if it's, and all full credit to Anthony Lamb and Ty Jerome. I think they've stepped up big time during the stretch. They've played a role to help this team win basketball games. But then you still got Patrick Baldwin Jr., who's showing what he can do. Wiseman, when he's been in, is shown a little bit of improvement. And then you got Rollins and the we'll get the Wiseman. I don't try to bash the kid as more than he needs to be bashed, but you've basically got 4 roster spots right now that aren't being used effectively. That's where this regular season gets determined, and it's on the front office, in my opinion, man. You gotta, you can get to the dance and have a chance to win. You gotta be able to insulate these guys and get them healthy to the playoffs, and because all you really need is like 1 or 2 bodies that can get you just to the finish line. I'm not saying. And now you can get into, what is that move? Who is that player? But you just need a big body and a guy that can shoot. And if you can get that, you'll be able to survive the 82-game gauntlet, because this team can win when they're in the playoffs. I still think, even what we've seen this year, like when they've played, you've got Steph playing on a high level, Clay's figuring it out, Draymond, Loon are playing well, Wiggins and JP, Kuminga coming in now. So you've got pieces that can win you playoff games.
What is this team right now if they brought back Damian Lee and Nemanja Bjelica?
Have you ever met Damian Lee with a better whistle? Man, the dude was getting every call. He wasn't missing a shot. But again, like last season, the difference between last year and this year's team was you had guys 9, 10, and 11 being able to play, spot minutes for you. You had Otto, Belly. I don't want to put GP in there. I feel like he was way more involved regular season as well, but you had guys that could fill in roles and just kind of buy the other guys some time, and it ended in the championship. They were healthy going into the playoffs, and they were able to go on a run.
I would send Wiseman. I'd send Wiseman to Shanghai Sharks in some 3-team deal with a European team to get Bjelica back to the Dubs, man. It wouldn't even.
I think it's the Istanbul League. I think that's where he's at.
Good for him.
But he's like or something.
Yeah, dude. Right now you take any of those guys just to play minutes, and that's really where this team's at right now. They're teetering, but they have a very high upside. And from what we've seen before, just get them there, healthy, and just buy them some time and buy them some health. So 2021, it is what it is. But we've seen this team show a lot of mental toughness. When Steph and Wiggins went down, we've seen them kind of right the ship a couple times now. It's just been, can they put this together and go on a stretch run? I think they can. It starts off on the defensive end, stopping these, cutting down on a lot of these turnovers. And, you see Steph and Wiggins get back in the flow. You get Kuminga, Wiseman, Jermichael Green back. I think they're cleared to play or practice as of a couple, an hour ago. So, if you can just buy that and have 9 through 12 give you solid production, I think they'll be in good shape come playoff time.
Yeah, so that too, 20 and 21, just about right at 500 halfway through the year. Record, second half. What do we got? Put you on the spot.
I'm going to assume the Warriors make a move. I think that as a fan base, I think the grounds to be just frustrated at a level we probably haven't been since pre-Steph Bob Myers time. I think we'd have the right to be in that category if the Warriors don't make a move this year, just because of what Steph is still, what Draymond is still, what Clay is still. They have to. You just can't let those guys down. This is the best. They're not this. You're more likely to win titles now than you are in 10 years with anybody else. It's just the way it is. So make the move. I'm going to assume they do. And I think they can get to 46, 47 wins. So they're at 20 now. I'd probably say, what does that make them? 27 and 15. So I'll probably say 27 and 15, assuming they make a move in the next few weeks.
But
again, if they don't make a move, say it again, Chuck.
27 and 14.
27 and 14. Thank you, Chuck. 27 and 14. I'll say I want to get them to 47 wins. if they don't make a move, I'm going to say they win 24 games and 24-17, and they're 44-45 win team. But it just depends. I just don't think they have they don't have the bodies right now, like you said, Gotham, right? The guys that we can see looking tired are the guys who we're not at all surprised to see tired, and that's Looney and Draymond. And those guys are Looney is I don't know what wizard or sorcerer he spoke with 2 years ago to get to the point where he's not
Gotta
missing
find his hip
games.
guy.
Dude,
Oh,
he's gonna turn into dust like the day he turns 35 or something.
his hip guy is 100% Satan, dude.
Dude,
It's Looney's soul is not in his body anymore, man. It's below
it's
us all.
impressive what the guy does.
Yeah, Draymond just again, people keep saying he's injured. No one said that. I know his back is what it is. After you slip a disc in your back, it's not really a thing that goes away for
Yeah.
a long time. So I mean, she's probably still dealing with it. I don't know if it's like acute in the sense that it was before, but you're putting a heavy load on a guy or two guys who are doing their best to carry it, but shouldn't have to, and probably and unfortunately aren't built for it right now. So, yeah, 22 wins, 24 wins, or 27 wins, depending on how things go.
Yeah, I think you stole 24 right out of my head. That's where I was about at. Maybe a trade can give you an extra win or two, but I think really if they do make a move, they'd make moves for depth, and they'd try to, more manage minutes and just go with that mindset of, let's get to the dance. Let's keep our guys healthy. If we have this core, we'll contend no matter what our seating position is. So yeah, I think 24-17 feels pretty solid. What do you think, Gotham?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say I stick with the 50 wins, but
Just
that
say
was
41-0, dude. Just do it.
Yeah, they're going 40-1. They're losing to
Coward.
Boston. Nah. But no, realistically, I think that this team, like you guys said, if they can get some depth, there's no reason why they can't string together a solid win streak. I see that changing. I think their road woes get fixed at least on this road trip coming up. Speaking of, we should preview the road trip a little bit. But they got 5 games coming up on the road. 3 of them are very winnable. So just you start to turn the tide a little bit. I'd say anywhere between 25 and 28 wins. And I think 45, 40, whatever, 47, 48 wins. If you can get there, I mean, that probably puts you pretty much like at least in out of the plan, I would assume this year, just with everybody winning and losing so often. So I see them start to put together a run, but like you guys said, man, I think it's on the front office at this point. Like, you know what this team is. You've heard Kerr asking for help, talking about Draymond and Looney being so tired as they are, and it's on them to make a move. There's so much uncertainty just with Bob Myers' contract and just the Draymond stuff, Clay stuff. What is the future of this team? But like you guys said, your best chances to win a championship are riding these 3 guys, and they're playing at a high level. It's not that they're not contributing. Clay's averaging 37. Draymond's playing like defense player of the year. Steph was playing like the MVP when he was healthy. So it's still there. The magic's still there. It's definitely not doom or gloom, but it's the times now. They got no more games to kind of play around with. This last half has to be strictly business and chase as many wins as you can. Speaking of chasing wins, as I kind of mentioned, this road trip coming up. They've got San Antonio tomorrow, Chicago on Sunday, and then Washington on Monday, followed by a nice little White House visit. Kind of cool for some of the guys that haven't done it. No, it's been a while. Missed some there's a little gap there during the dynasty. But besides that, what do you guys feel the record is going into these 3 road trip or these first 3 games of the road trip?
I mean,
Go, Chuck.
we've seen their last 8 games. They've won 5 games they had no business winning, and then they lost 3 games they absolutely should have won. So if recent history is any indication, they're going to lose all of these. But they got to win 2, man. Like, you got to get 2 of these. San Antonio is rolling over, praying for salvation. Chicago has no idea where they're going, and the Wizards are just futility incarnate. So like you got to pull some wins out of this. You got to get back to 500.
I want to say good things. I want to say that good things are going to happen in the next week or so. 2-1, like you said, it just has to be the standard. I don't know. I don't, again, this is not a team that beats the teams they're supposed to beat. It's one of those things where that's not what they are right now. So I have a hard time saying even 2-1. Chicago has played pretty well of late, actually, and I don't think it'll be an easy game. Same with, Washington's been scrappy with a bunch of good teams recently too. San Antonio sucks, but again, we just watched the last few games. I sound like I'm about to say 0-3. I'm not going to. I'm going to say 2-1 because I think this team has a sense of urgency, but I feel not confident about it. I don't feel great about it. But I'm going to say 2-1. I couldn't tell you which. It'll probably be the most surprising. I guess they win the Bulls and the Wizards game. They probably lose the Spurs game with the way things go. So let's see. Who knows? But 2-1. Let's see.
You know what? I gotta put a 3-0 out there. I still think 2-1, but it is too doable, man. I think that they're gonna treat this Suns game as a punch in the mouth.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I applaud you, Gotham. Once again, man, you are the best person to be here in this pod with Chuck and I, man. We need your optimism. Chuck, before we wrap it up, dude, we were talking a bit earlier just about front office woes and whatnot. What's kind of the archetype of player or players the Warriors need right now?
Every year there's kind of a game like that for the Warriors.
Looks like we lost you for a moment, man, but you came in guns blazing right back, and it was
he was back with a fury.
Oh boy. What do you think, Chuck?
Yeah, I think looking to get another big would be great. I think any sort of wing defender would be huge. I mean, this team just needs help, period. And any way that comes, we'll take it. Buyouts, trades. Don't sign any racist guys like the Lakers. But besides that, just get good guys.
How would you prioritize this, Chuck? You're Bob Myers. Are you getting a big first? Are you getting like a kind of a 4-5 first? Are you getting a 3-4 ball handling guard? What do you think?
Definitely a big, preferably one that can go between the 4 and 5 spots. Those don't exactly grow on trees, but yeah, no, you got to reinforce it. Like, no offense to James Wiseman, but he can't be your backup 5 right now.
There's none taken, Chuck. None taken. Yeah, I fully agree. I just think a big body is kind of the way to go. Gotham, what do you think?
Back.
What's the Warriors? Right now you're trying to take care of positional need just based on the roster right now. What are you going after first?
Going some size, man. I think they just need another body. A guy that can bang in the paint, get some rebounds, set some screens. If he knocks down a 3 too, man, come on, that's sign me up. But I think they do need another wing guy that can shoot. Just another defender, a 3-and-D kind of guy. Can never get any more of those. So, but some size and a shooter. If they can figure that out, I think they'll be golden. No pun intended. But
hey,
it's there, man. It's there for the taking. They just got to figure this shit out right now.
Hey, some size that can shoot, maybe.
Exactly. 2-on-1. Kill 2-on-1. Exactly. God bless. I miss that guy so much. Shout out that 2022 team, man. That was full vibes, all vibes.
Bielitsa was like a girl you were dating who was like pretty not awesome most of the relationship, and like when you're finally thinking about ending things, she just becomes fucking awesome, and then she just leaves. Dude. She leaves. She doesn't get back. You don't hear from her again. She doesn't care about ring night. None of this stuff. She's she's gone.
She didn't care about the ring.
Saved his bet for the finals, and he bounced, man.
Hey, it's the ones we need, not that we realize. So whatever, some deep shit right there. Before we get out of here, gentlemen. Before we get out of here, boys. Anything to shout out? Anything cool? I know Matt, you got a nice little announcement for us.
Yeah, I actually I need to confirm with Vignesh of GSW Fast Break, but yeah, I got a writing offer from Golden State Warriors Fast Break connected to Mercury News. That's pretty sweet. So stay tuned for what's coming next. But yeah, guys, I'm excited for it.
All the doom and gloom with Matt, dude. I can't wait to read those.
I'm writing the Old Testament in Warriors form, man. It's coming, dude.
It's gonna be awesome.
Well, and speaking of that, depending on when you listen to this, I will have my sequel on Klay Thompson's shot, going back into the tape to see how things have progressed, update on some predictions, see if some sort of trends we've been seeing are holding out. You can check that out on theswishtheory.com tomorrow, or just find it on my Twitter at Claytheist11.
Beautiful. Check out Matt's stuff. Check out Chuck's stuff. Only writing I'm doing is during games on Twitter and spewing optimism. It's happening, guys. We're still winning.
Someone needs to do it.
So don't get it twisted. We're still winning a ring. Shout out the Niners. Big weekend. Seahawks. Fuck the Seahawks. Fuck Pete Carroll. This is the year. If anything, the championship still being won in Bay Area is coming home for the Niners. Shout out Brock. It's happening. This is the year. We've been through too much heartbreak. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for listening. Go Dubs. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.